Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Neca Scream 4 Ghostface version 2. It technically doesn't even say version 2, I've just decided to slap it on there. It is actually an updated version of the original Ghostface released for the Scream 4 movie. Now, if you'll remember, I've already shot a review of this guy. You'll remember that the original Scream Ghostface had actually a cloth bottom skirt, and actually cloth pieces on his sleeves. This is a newer version by Neca. Not really indicated anywhere on the package, so if you were to purchase this on eBay, you kind of just have to go and gauge it by the photos that the seller is offering for the figure. Or if the seller is smart enough, he could probably put next to his description that this is the plastic updated version of Ghostface. Down below, there's a picture of Ghostface as well as indicating Scream 4 as seen in the motion picture Scream 4, 2010. On the back of the package, we have a picture of the figure, now showing the full plastic rubber cape, a rubber cloak. As the read-up says, the icon of Halloween returns with his brand new action figure, complete with knife accessory and over 14 points of articulation. Highly detailed and fully poseable, watch for more Ghostface figures and collectibles coming soon. Somewhat misleading. Well, I wouldn't say misleading, but so far I've seen squat of new Ghostface figures. I've really only seen this one as well as the zombie Ghostface figure, but I have not seen any other Ghostface figures. I don't know what other Scream figures we will actually get. I hope, though, the good folks at Neca continue to release them. Also interesting is the fact that they say Ghostface is the icon of Halloween. Did he take that title from Michael Myers and I was asleep at the time? I don't know. They seem to want to push the idea that he's the icon of Halloween, but we all know who represents Halloween more than Michael Myers, and possibly Sam. Those two. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the updated version of Ghostface. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Stay tuned. In the way of what you'll actually get with accessories, the updated version of Ghostface has the exact same butcher hunting knife as the original Ghostface. It is a pliable rubber, thank goodness, because unfortunately the other Ghostfaces that I had packed away, this knife has bent a little bit. It's a little warped, as you will see in a second. So thank goodness at least it's rubber, it's not going to break off. But it does come with that. No display stand, no nothing like that. NECA doesn't necessarily give us anything in the way of display stands, but something would have been nice for Ghostface. I'm not going to nitpick it really all that much. So he does come with his knife. If we have a look at the actual figure itself, first of all, we'll zoom into his face, his ghost face, and once again, a great sculpt by the good folks at NECA. I like the fact that the hood folds over. We got a little bit of a peak going on there. I like that. The detail work on the sculpt of the cloak is fantastic, as always. But there is nothing different between this figure. Oh, sounds like Spot's got a segue going on here. This figure and this one right here, which is actually the original Ghostface from the first Scream 4 release. Now, really I would say from the torso up, it's the exact same figure. However, if you watched my review of this guy, the guy I'm pointing at right now, this guy right here, one thing I didn't like about this particular Ghostface was the paint. And it could have very well been my figure. Could have been just the way that it was accidentally painted on this one. But I didn't like the fact that his eyes were so squinty. His mouth wasn't so bad, but his eyes were really, really bad. Could have been a lot better. This one, however, fixes that problem, or at least in the way of quality. What I've got on this figure, the paint is a little better than this one, so that's a good plus. I like that quite a bit. The one problem I did have with this figure, rectified. I guess the biggest problem that a lot of collectors had was this part right here. The original Ghostface, as you can see, not only did he have the cloth drapes from his sleeves, which is acceptable, I'm fine with that. But I think one thing that a lot of collectors really had a tough time with was the notion that he had a cloth skirt. The legs and everything else are the exact same on both figures, but you can definitely see a distinct, stark contrast between the top torso, which was sculpted plastic, and it's almost the material of a cape. Like a cape on a Superpowers figure, or some Star Wars figures have had this as well. But you can definitely see it doesn't quite match, and it just looked silly. It kind of looked like he was wearing a skirt. Now we jump ahead a little bit, and we take the actual re-updated version, the remastered, you won't even call it remastered version of Ghostface. You can see, yes, in fact, same upper torso, same head sculpt, but a vast improvement because they now have swapped it out for a for a rubber, thank you, a rubber style bottom piece. It looks consistent. I like that. And even if you follow it through, you can see that the sculpt from the upper torso to the bottom of the cloak is all the same. It blends right in. It looks perfect. However, it still rotates in the waist, which I like. Kind of looks off a little bit. Yes, you'll see points where maybe Ghostface looks like he's been cut in half. But I love the fact that they've incorporated now a full rubberized, rubber style bottom to the cloak. It just looks better versus this, as you can see. I mean, again, aside from that, it's the exact same figure. They've even kept the same fabric drapes or fabric extensions from his sleeve, but it works. It works, and you know, it adds a little bit of, you know, a little bit of flow. You know, when he's got his arm out, I don't know what he would do with his arm out. Maybe he'd be handing you like change or whatever. But I like the fact that they still kept this. If they had maybe gone with a rubber root and had this more like a rubberized plastic or just a piece of rubber, it wouldn't have that flow to it. So I like the fact that they've kept this. This is nice. Also, too, at the bottom of the original Ghostface, you can see that it's frayed. It just really doesn't look very, very good at all. At the bottom here, they've sculpted in just like shredded pieces, the frayed edge of the bottom of the cloak, or costume, if you will. And again, it really works. It works perfectly. The legs underneath Ghostface, or underneath this piece right here, are the same as the original Ghostface. So that's nothing different at all. Once again, the detailing on the feet and the shoes and everything else is really good. You can see that there's dirt, a little bit of debris on the actual shoes. You can see they've painted in the loops for the laces. There's a little bit of scuff, a little bit of dirt on the actual pants that Ghostface is wearing. So I like that quite a bit. In the way of his articulation, now it would be the same as the original Ghostface, so he has a ball-jointed head. So you get lots of movement, which is really nice. I like that. You can kind of have his head tipped back and forth too. His legs are on a pin and socket, so they move out all the way around. Same thing with the forearms. They rotate all the way around, bend at the elbow, like so. Rotate around in the hand. Looks to be that is also a ball joint. As I was mentioning earlier, that he has the rotation in the waist. Now the legs do bend forward and back and out. He also does have a pin and socket on the knee. The knee can bend and rotate, but you're really not going to get a lot being that he has this skirt. You could somewhat on the original figure, but it's much more hindered now that he's got this on here. He also does have a ball-jointed foot. So even though there is the movement, there is the option there to be able to move those legs. You're not really going to be able to move them much, which for a Ghostface figure, really, how many dynamic poses do we need to have Ghostface actually in? There he is with his knife, looking very nice. But I'm very, very happy that NECA, I would hope they took the feedback of the collectors, the fans that bought these figures, and realized, yes, you know what, It was a great figure, but it definitely needed to go back, and we definitely needed to redesign, kind of rethink what we did with the original figure. And the updated version of Ghostface I really like. Also, as a side note, and it's just really, I think, more so my figure, but I'm glad the face has been fixed a little bit. I think the paint is much better on this figure, at least on mine, than it was on the other figure. I guess the only thing that really needs to be done is if you have two of them, maybe you could swap out, you could take the ball jointed head off the zombie Ghostface, even though he technically wasn't in the movie, and if you had two of these, you could put the zombie head on, because really that's the only thing that's different again with this figure to this one as well, is just the difference in the head sculpt. The updated Ghostface I'm really happy to have picked up. Again, you're gonna have to be a little iffy. You have to do some shopping around to find this guy. Again, best bet if you're going to go on eBay and you're going to go looking for him, check out the pictures. Check out what the sellers are selling this guy with, and hopefully if they have not production photos but actual photos of on hand of what they're selling, you can definitely see that this would be a plastic cape versus that of the original fabric bottom. Updated Ghostface. For the life of me, I can't even remember what Spot gave the original Ghostface figure from NECA. But really happy to have got this one. I'm going to give him, though, a 9. Really no complaints to be made about him. He's now, for me, the ideal Ghostface to have on display. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Scream 4 Ghostface. This is now the updated version that had the rubber base to the cloak. A vast improvement and definitely worth picking up. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.